In 2018, I was asked to present at the GMIT Soapbox Science event on some of my engaging teaching strategies. So I presented on, do you taste what I taste? So do you taste what I taste? Well, we know that the more taste buds you have per square centimeter, the more you taste. And evidence our research on young people shows that taste buds per square inch can vary from 11 taste buds per square inch to 11,000 taste buds per square inch. And obviously that means that there can be a huge variety in how much different people taste. The more taste buds you have, the more flavor and taste you get. And we know that women have more taste buds and therefore are better tasters than men. So the goal of my teaching was to explain to students about people who have reduced sense of taste, who have altered sense of taste, and who have hypersensitivity or potentially increased sense of taste. As a lecturer in public health nutrition, this was important because how we taste impacts what foods we eat and how much of those foods that we eat. So who's got a reduced sense of taste? Well, the elderly have a reduced sense of taste because as they grow older, their taste buds degenerate, and with less taste buds, they have poorer sense of taste. And elderly people, therefore, tend to have poorer appetites and enjoy bland foods. Evidence shows that obese people have poorer sensitivity of taste, so again, don't get the same flavor and taste as people as lean individuals, and that smoking can reduce your ability to taste foods and distinguish different tastes. So it can be difficult to appreciate how reduced your sense of taste can possibly be, but we've actually all had that experience, like when we get a head cold, because taste is as much an olfactory sense, so to do with, say, sense of smell, as it is to do with our taste buds. In order to show this to my students, I gave them all a Malteser. I asked them to hold their nose, put the Malteser in their mouth, start to chew the Malteser, and then halfway through the chewing process to release their nose. The release of the nose releases olfactory senses, and that sense of smell is transported through the nasopharynx, and students receive a burst of smell, and they can therefore understand the difference between reduced taste and normal taste. Some people also have an altered sense of taste. So women during pregnancy often experience pica, which is a craving for foods like, or substances like coal or soil, or cravings for foods that they may not have liked previously. And that is an altered sense of taste. Additionally, people who are undergoing therapy, such as chemotherapy for cancer, often have altered sense of taste. Things taste metallic, their sweet senses might be dulled, and they might not be able to taste sweetness or saltiness or umami. And in order to give my students a sense of how your taste can be altered, I went online and ordered some miracle berries or miracle fruities. Miracle berries are an African fruit, and they have the ability to change your sour taste buds to sweet. So I gave my students each a miracle fruit sweet. They let it dissolve on their tongue, and we cut up a lemon or lemons and handed out lemon quarters, and everybody tasted the lemon quarters. Normally your lemon quarters would be very sour, but because of the miracle fruits, the lemon quarters tasted sweet. And this gave the students an understanding that it is possible to have an altered sense of taste. Finally, I wanted my students to have an understanding of hypersensitivity. People on the autistic spectrum tend to have hypersensitivity, and they sense things at a magnified rate to what we do. So if it is sound and we hear a clock ticking, they might hear the clock ticking faster, louder, or for longer. In a room, people with autism have described hypersensitivity as like being tuned into 40 different TV channels at the one time. And this can be movement, taste, smell, sound, any of the senses. So I asked my students to take their shoes off and put their shoes on the wrong foot. Next, I gave them an elastic band and I asked the students to put the elastic band around their thigh. After that, I gave my students a plastic glove and a dollop of moisturizer. They put the moisturizer into the plastic glove and put the plastic glove on. I gave the students a piece of tin foil. I asked them to scrunch it up loosely and put it down the back of their trousers. And finally, I gave each of the students half a pack of popping candy or Pop Rocks and asked them to put it into their mouth. And this overall gave a lot of small underlying uncomfortableness, so shoes on the wrong feet or Pop Rocks in their mouth. And I asked them to have a conversation with each other. And students were very distracted by the extra sounds, the feeling of the moisturizer on their hand, the itchiness of the tinfoil in their trousers. And this gave the students empathy for people with autism and gave them a better understanding of why people with autism have behavioural difficulties and can be difficult to communicate with. So to recap, my overall goal was to teach students that some individuals have reduced taste, such as the elderly, obese, smokers, and people with head colds or head trauma, that some individuals taste things differently to the rest of us, and give students an empathy for that, such as people on chemotherapy, other prescription medications in pregnancy, and that some people are far more sensitive to all of our senses, taste, sound, smell, and touch, such as people with autism, and that may impact how people behave and communicate. And overall, reduced taste, altered taste, and increased taste may affect what people eat, what people choose to eat, and how much of those foods that people choose to eat.